Imagine the pain you're feeling right now. The pressure to do it all perfectly, to meet everyone's expectations, to never fail. Now, what if I told you that this pain, this constant battle for flawlessness, is the very thing that's keeping you stuck in a cycle of misery? Perfectionism isn't helping you achieve greatness. It's keeping you locked in an emotional prison. You can't keep living like this, constantly pushing yourself into a corner. Want to break free once and for all? Perfectionism can seem like a desirable trait. After all, it sounds good, doesn't it? Striving for excellence, setting high standards, working hard to achieve something remarkable. But the truth is, perfectionism isn't the key to success. It's a trap. The more you chase perfection, the further you get from finding peace or contentment in what you've accomplished. It might feel like perfectionism is pushing you to be your best self, but what you don't realize is that this constant drive for flawlessness is often motivated by fear. Fear that if you don't meet the impossible standards you've set, you'll be judged, rejected, or even worse, labeled a failure. The truth is, there's no such thing as perfection. What you're really after isn't success, it's validation, and it's never enough. No matter how much you achieve, it will always feel like something is missing. This drive for perfection creates a constant internal battle. You're never fully satisfied with yourself, never able to enjoy your achievements because your mind is always focused on the next thing you need to fix or improve. The goalposts move constantly, and you're left running in place, always striving for an unattainable ideal. This endless pursuit doesn't bring satisfaction. It only brings anxiety and frustration. Perfectionism also distorts how you see yourself. You begin to attach your worth to the idea of perfection. If something goes wrong or doesn't meet your standards, you feel like a failure. You convince yourself that you are inadequate, that you're not good enough, and that you need to try harder. But the problem is not you. It's the impossible standard you've created in your mind. The truth is, perfectionism is robbing you of your self-worth, leaving you feeling empty and exhausted. You might think that perfectionism is a way to improve your life, but in reality, it's slowly destroying your peace of mind. The truth is, perfectionism often stems from a deep-seated fear of failure and judgment. You might fear that if you make a mistake, you'll be criticized, rejected, or worse, be seen as less than perfect. But that constant pressure isn't motivating you to achieve your goals. It's creating a toxic cycle of stress and self-doubt that's eroding your sense of peace. This kind of mental strain takes its toll over time. When you're constantly worried about being perfect, your mind is always in overdrive. You begin overthinking every decision, second-guessing your actions, and fearing any mistake. The worst part is that you end up sabotaging yourself before you even start. Perfectionism doesn't leave room for creativity, growth, or even learning from failure. Instead, it pushes you into a corner where you feel trapped, isolated, and never good enough. The constant mental chatter of perfectionism leads to an increase in anxiety. Every little flaw or mistake feels like a catastrophic event. The pressure to keep up the facade of perfection becomes overwhelming, leading to feelings of burnout. You begin to lose sight of what's really important because all you can focus on is meeting the impossible standards you've set for yourself. Your peace, your joy, and your ability to enjoy life are slowly being suffocated by the weight of perfectionism. Perfectionism also takes a toll on your physical health. The constant stress that comes with trying to meet impossible standards leads to chronic anxiety, which has a direct impact on your body. The stress hormone cortisol is released in large quantities, which can cause everything from headaches to stomach issues, weight gain, and even high blood pressure. Over time, this strain on your body can lead to serious health problems that could have been avoided if you had simply let go of the need to be perfect. The effects of perfectionism are far-reaching, impacting not only your mental health but also your relationships, work, and physical well-being. When you're consumed by the need to be perfect, you often distance yourself from others, fearing that showing any weakness or flaw will lead to judgment. You hide behind an image of perfection, convinced that vulnerability will cause people to think less of you. However, the truth is that the people who truly care about you will love you not in spite of your imperfections, but because of them. Perfectionism prevents real connection because it creates a barrier between you and those who want to support you. Constantly wearing a mask of who you think you should be makes it difficult to form meaningful relationships. This emotional distance can leave you feeling isolated, even when surrounded by loved ones. You may physically be with people, but emotionally you feel alone, as the pressure to present a perfect image keeps you from being your true self. This emotional detachment from others leads to a profound sense of loneliness. Instead of embracing vulnerability and connection, you push others others away. The idea that you need to be perfect in order to be loved or accepted damages relationships and creates a sense of emptiness. The more you try to be flawless, the more you alienate yourself from the people who genuinely care about you. This cycle makes it harder to receive love and support when you need it most. Perfectionism also negatively affects your creativity and productivity. When you focus on getting every detail right, you paralyze yourself with the fear of failure. You hesitate to take risks, try new things, or start new projects because you're terrified of not achieving perfection. This fear limits your potential, as it stops you from embracing opportunities or stepping outside your comfort zone. Over time, perfectionism keeps you stuck in a loop of self-doubt and second-guessing, preventing you from reaching your full capabilities. Moreover, perfectionism takes a toll on your body. The stress from constantly trying to meet impossible standards leads to elevated cortisol levels. High cortisol levels over time can cause physical health problems such as high blood pressure, heart disease, and digestive issues. Your body remains in a state of fight or flight, which wears you down physically and emotionally. The chronic stress caused by perfectionism can lead to burnout, both mentally and physically, leaving you exhausted and drained. Breaking free from perfectionism is not easy, but it's necessary for your well-being. The first step is to recognize that perfectionism is not the path to success or happiness. It's the path to stress, burnout, and disappointment. Start by embracing the idea that it's okay to be imperfect. Perfectionism is an illusion, and chasing after it will only leave you exhausted and unfulfilled. Practice self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, but treating yourself with kindness and understanding can help break the cycle of perfectionism. Instead of berating yourself for not meeting every expectation, take a moment to acknowledge your effort and recognize that mistakes are an opportunity to learn and grow. You're human. You're allowed to make mistakes. In fact, you should embrace them as part of your journey. Learn to redefine success. Success isn't about achieving perfection. It's about making progress. Shift your mindset from focusing on an unattainable ideal to appreciating your growth, no matter how small. Start by setting realistic goals that are achievable and allow yourself to celebrate every small victory. Acknowledge that doing your best doesn't mean being perfect. It means putting in the effort and learning from the process. Start saying no to unnecessary pressures. Perfectionism thrives when you're constantly trying to meet other people's expectations. Set boundaries in your personal and professional life that honor your time, energy, and mental well-being. Give yourself permission to not do everything perfectly and allow yourself the space to take breaks, relax, and recharge. Remember, you don't have to do it all, and you don't have to do it perfectly. Your worth is not defined by your achievements, and you are enough just as you are. It's time to embrace imperfection, to let go of the need for constant approval, and to find peace in the present moment. Perfectionism is a lie, a trap that keeps you from living your best life. It's time to let go of the unrealistic standards you've set for yourself and embrace the beauty of imperfection. It's okay to make mistakes, to not have everything figured out, and to take life one step at a time. You are worthy of peace, love, and acceptance, just as you are. So take a deep breath, release the pressure, and allow yourself to simply be. It's time to break free from the chains of perfectionism and embrace the freedom that comes with accepting yourself exactly as you are.